Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about the general formatting for your APA essay. So the category we're under in the Purduell website is APA Formatting and Style Guide, the 7th edition. We're under general formatting, so we can read up a little bit about these guidelines. So for your font, the APA Publication Manual requires that your font be legible. And so they have a list of suggestions here on the font size and type that you can choose. I suggest you choose Times New Roman size 12 font that is available on many different devices, and it's easy to read and it's legible. And that's just one of the standard fonts and standard sizes that you can use. So your paper, of course, will have your cover page and then the body of your paper and your reference page. I have a separate lecture video on how to create your cover page, which as we can see in the sample paper, this is what your cover page will look like. And I also have a separate lecture video on your reference page, which is basically after you're done writing your essay, you will have a separate sheet for your references. The word references will be centered and bolded, and you'll be listing out all of your references alphabetically. And in my other lecture on references, I went through how to figure out how to cite your sources. So what we're going to be looking at is when you have your paper, you do have the option of including an abstract. And an abstract, as we can see in the general guide, in the general format guidelines, an abstract is just kind of a short summary of your entire paper. So basically after your cover page, you're going to create a separate sheet, and in the center in bold, you're going to write the word abstract. And in this abstract, you're just going to tell me in one paragraph, no more than 250 words, you're going to summarize your paper, and you can also include possible implications of your research and future work you see connected to your findings. But in general, an abstract is just telling your audience briefly what your paper is about and what your conclusions are. And then below your abstract, you have the option of including keywords, which will be related to the content of your paper. So if you ever publish this, and if anyone is ever searching for the topic that you wrote about, these keywords will help them to find your article. So if you are writing about the abuse of research participants, maybe you might write research abuse or participant abuse, things along those lines under your keywords. Now for your paper, your abstract is optional. It does not count towards the 8 to 10 pages of text that you have to include for your final paper. But if you wanted to include an abstract, then that would be totally fine. Now let us take a look at our sample student paper. So after you have your cover page, you can create an abstract where, as I mentioned, centered and bolded, you'll have the word abstract, and then in one paragraph, you'll just basically summarize your paper. And then on the next page, so after your abstract, you're going to create a totally different page, which will be the page that you'll start writing your paper. So when you create this page for the body of your paper, in the center in bold, you're going to repeat your title. So whatever title you created on your cover page, you will be repeating the title right above your introduction. And that's the only time that you'll need to repeat your title. It's not in every page, it's just right above your introduction. And then you're going to go ahead and write your introduction and get into writing your paper. Now, one tip that I want to give you to help you with organizing your essay is when we were talking about your proposal and your research questions, etc., you guys created a list of 3 to 5 sub questions to help you answer your main question. So if you want to help make things easier for you, you can use each one of those sub questions as a level 2 heading, and then you can organize your paper in that way. So basically, you'll have your introduction, and then you'll have a level 2 heading where you're either asking the question or listing out your topic. So if we were writing about the abusive research participants, one of the things that we might want to talk about is how does a participant's socioeconomic status um, affect them being taken advantage of, something along those lines. Now, if we have that question, we can actually list out that question here. Or we can just list socioeconomic status or effects of socioeconomic status, and that can be our level 2 heading. And then the 2 or 3 paragraphs, how many ever paragraphs we're writing about this particular question or topic, will fall right under this section. And then you can move on to your next question or your next subsection. So that'll make things a lot easier for you with your organization, because you'll have these categories to help clarify the different sections of your paper. Now, this is totally optional. You don't have to do that. But if you wanted to, then it'll make things easier for you and your audience to help navigate your paper. And for your level 2 heading, it will be left aligned, bolded, and then each letter, the first letter of each word will be uppercase. Anything that appears after a colon will be uppercase. You don't need to put an, and the, or prepositions like to, across, for, under, etc. You don't need to put those in uppercase unless it appears after a colon. You do not need to include literature review in the center. This is a level 1 heading, but you guys don't have categories like that, like a literature review and methodology and stuff. So you don't need to include those parts. You just need to include level 2 headers if you wanted to, with either the subsection or your sub-question listed out there. And so you'll have, for your paper, you will have your cover page. Then optionally, you can have an abstract before you get into the body of your paper. When you get into the body of your paper, above your introduction, you will repeat your title in bold. Then you're going to write your paper, and optionally, you can organize your paper by using those sub-questions. You don't need to include your main question, because your main question will be answered in your thesis statement. So you'll have your introduction. Last 1 to 2 sentences of your introduction will be your answer to your main question, which is your thesis statement. And then you can get into writing these subsections or subcategories if you choose to do that, or you can just jump into a body paragraph. You don't have to use these subcategories. And then after you're done writing your 8 to 10 pages worth of text, then you will have your reference page, which will be listed on a separate sheet. The word references will be centered and bolded. And then you're going to indent each line after the first for each one of your sources. And that's basically what I wanted to talk to you guys about with your general formatting for your APA paper.